G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present sort of a review of all my trades for SuperCoach 2022. So I didn't really know what other video to upload this week. I was probably going to save this until next week, but since we've used all of our trades now, I may as well have a look at it now. So yeah, and also I'll go over some lessons learned for SuperCoach 2022. So yeah, we'll get into that. First of all, I just wanted to say I actually do apologize for the video I did last night. I think I'm going to lean more towards the side of not doing alcoholic SuperCoach reviews in the future. Got a couple of dislikes. That's all right. It was a very messy video. When I watched back at it, it was a bit silly for me to do a video. So I think a lesson learned for me, not for SuperCoach next year, but for my videos next year, I think, say the Sunday I'm drinking and all that. And yesterday when I recorded that, I was full on blind. Like I was quite intoxicated and yeah, work was a struggle today. So I'm just going to say I do apologize for uploading that. I think for next year, if I'm drinking on the Sunday, I'm just going to do them on Monday. I just want to make sure that I want to get videos out as soon as possible. You know, giving me the best chance to, sort of giving me the best chance to get as many views as I can. But yeah, fair to say there was a comment which was fine. I'd rather you guys be open and honest with me, so that's all good. Yeah, look, I'm just probably not. I'm going to lean against doing the alcoholic reviews in the future. But anyway, that I've said what I've needed to say. I'm feeling a lot better now, so. Yeah, my videos need to be a lot sharper and all that. So anyway, let's get into my trade history. Let's go back to the start. So my three first trades here. So we had Josh Sin out, probably a bit of a silly starting pick, let's be honest, for Patrick Cripps, which was at the time a good trade until he did his hammy. Which I eventually kept, but yeah, I think all in all that was still a decent trade. We'll come back to him later when I traded him out. Tristan Jerry, yeah, I think so. I used a boost in round 3, and I felt like that was pretty necessary because there were a few blokes that I was missing in my side. So we went for Sherry. McGovern was a pretty poor choice, but I thought I was a bit stiff there. And the controversial one, I chose to trade Max Scorn over Lockie Whitfield, which, you know, jury's out on whether that was actually a good call, but a great call for me was to bring in Jared Witts at 380k. I was very happy about that. Gorn at that much money, and he was about to drop a load, which he actually didn't drop that much in coins. So, but look, Jared Witts turned out to be a terrific trade-in. So maybe it wasn't that bad, but in all honesty, probably Whitfield would have been the better trade out. Nick Martin for Dylan Stevens. Stevens turned out to be a very poor starting pick, which was a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. Nick Martin at 102k. He was one of the best rookies of the year. Nathan O'Driscoll at 167 for Brady Hoff. Brady Hoff actually made a little bit more coin after this and started getting some consistent games. So maybe wasn't the smartest trade out actually, but well, I just didn't know if he was going to get back into the side. And Nathan O'Driscoll turned out to be a pretty decent rookie, did his job. Josh Ward turned out to be a pretty disappointing rookie as well at 227k. He made a little bit more towards the end, but basically no one had him. Brought in Isaac Heaney. I'll talk about him more a bit later since I traded him out. But this was actually a pretty poor trade because after this, I should probably check the history, but I'm pretty sure he only dropped a ton of once after this, and I paid up quite a bit for him because he was killing me early days. Ben Hobbs coming in for 153 for Horn Francis. I was actually going to bring in Roses, but Roses was laid out, so I brought in Hobbs instead. He actually turned out to be a very good rookie, so a bit lucky there. I believe this was Jack Hayes when he did his ACL and brought in Sam Hayes for 123, did his role, made a bit of coin. I brought in Bruce for 298k. It was a bit weird, but he still made me about 150k. Sherry, I believe, was injured at the time, so decided to trade him out. Clayton Oliver, should have started this bloke. This when Grundy was injured. Oliver, 618k. yeah, he was just fantastic for us this year, wasn't he? And a real contender for my starting side next year. Luke Parker, 518k. He was very solid for me this season. McComb did his job. He made me about 120k. By the way, I should say it is quite late, but I cannot go to sleep. I'm not tired at all. Hugh Dixon, 246, and Rochelle, 273, two blokes that had to go. Dixon wasn't getting a game, and Rochelle was just dropping coin like crazy. And I think what's crazy as well is Rochelle, I believe, should actually be pretty cheap for us next year because he isn't. What's his average? 52. He could be at a decent price. I'm not very good with maths, but he could be a very decent starting pick for us. James Sicily. Wish I started the bloke. He's my favourite player in the comp. I should have started him. Brought out Hinge. He was a bit, I think he was out for like a couple of weeks, and it was just a bit weird with his role. He kept coming in and out of the side. O'Driscoll, mate. What did he make me? 130k. That's pretty good. Yeah, should have brought in Sicily a lot earlier. Gibkiss out as well. He was actually a very good rookie as well. Made roughly about 150k, so that's pretty good. Now, these are two bad trade-ins. Maybe not so much Rioli because he's skiing a game here and there as a sub, but Jack Carroll, shocking. Ever since a lot of people would have brought him in, and ever since I brought him in, he was just just scored really poorly. That was a bit disappointing. Now, round 10 would bring me probably my best round of trades for the year by far. So Jack Steele was out. He did his AC joint. He was out for a bit. Lockie Whitfield, who was just playing shit footy, he was playing injured as well, so I had to get rid of him. Corey Durden made a bit more coin after this, but I had to use one of the rookies' money to make these trades happen, and it was bloody worth it. Greg Clark, disappointing rookie actually, but here we go. Jordan Dawson and Rory Laird, two brilliant trade-ins from me, both the Adelaide Crows boys. They were fantastic for me for the rest of the year. So I was very happy about these trades. So Steele and Whitfield out for Laird and Dawson. By far my best trades this year, in my opinion. Round 11. So there's one bad trade here. Bruce out. Yeah, had to get rid of him. I felt like a few people kept on to him, but he had to go. Jacob Ware was a very handy rookie for me, and I traded him out when I needed to for the extra coin. Nick Martin certainly did his role as well. We had a lot of very good rookies this year. And we brought in Andrew Brayshaw, and then here we go. Nick Day cost 376k. He's probably now 200k more now. Oh, about 150k more. Now Nick Day cost, ever since I traded him out, he just went shit. And ever since I've traded him out, he's just been going bonkers. And Sean Darcy, been a little bit of a disappointing trade in here. I thought he'd be doing a bit better. Obviously, he did really well against West Coast this week, but there's been a few 50s, 90s and all that. Just hasn't hit the ceiling like I thought he would. Okay, now here brings my worst trade of the year. Out, so we'll do this one first. Sam Hayes wasn't getting a game. Port hate him. Brought in Bryn Teakle, who was very handy for me. And here's the bad one. Out Isaac Heaney I brought him in at 539, and I traded him out at 462. Lost a bit of coin there, and I brought in Tim English. I did the maths, and I've roughly lost, ever since this trade, I've roughly lost about 270 points from this trade, from round 12s. English was a bit stiff with concussion when he got that dangerous tackle on him. He had to miss a couple of weeks there. Heaney, ever since I traded him out, he just wouldn't stop scoring 100s. I think he's gone like 6 tons in a row, and I'm really missing him. So, I thought this would be the move that would separate me from the rest of the competition, but clearly not. Getting rid of Heaney was poor. I'd much rather Heaney than English at the minute, that's for sure. And English for 600k when I don't know his price now. Can I check? Probably can't. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can. What's his price now? What's he priced at? He is now priced at 479. So I've lost about 120k on that. And Heaney's just gone far too well. Round 13, we brought in Jack Sinclair. Pretty good trade, actually. He's been doing really well for me since I brought him in. Brought in Machado Owens, which turned out to be a decent trade. Judson Clark, pretty poor, but we were pretty bare for rookies at that point. Carroll, yeah, I just traded him out because he just wasn't getting a game and didn't make much coin, in all honesty. McComb did his job, made about 150, so that was perfect. Angwin, I brought him in just because of the DPP loop, so I could have a defender mid in my midfield. And also the same thing with Dirksen, so I could swing Paddy McCartan around with him, which has turned out to be like a pretty decent idea. Probably would have preferred a 23rd premium, but I've just opted to try to go for the more, I guess, the better premiums in the side. So instead of getting in the extra premiums on the bench, but oh well. Greg Clark came out. I mean, he actually did all right, about 120K, but felt like he could have done a lot more. Connor McDonald, he's actually done a bit better as of late. So I think, as I said, once again, ever since I've traded him out, he's on 307K, and I got rid of him for 100K less. So that probably actually isn't probably a bad rookie that I traded out right there. Butters for Bontempelli, another ripping trade. Bontempelli served me some really good scores. He did like the 181, 161. So I had him in there. So that's been a good trade in. Ben Hobbs, he had to go. Really needed his money. And same with Ware. So I brought in D'Ambrosio, which has been a decent trade for the extra money. And I brought in Jack Steele. Now, I feel like the jury's out, in my opinion, because let's have a look what he did since I brought him in. Gave me 107, 109, 133, 143. Then as of late, 107, 93, and 58. Yeah, I mean, what was he averaging when he came back here? So 109. He's now down to 108. So in all honesty, this trade has not worked out like I thought it would. I thought Steele would have been a ripper trade in for the last 7 or 8 rounds of the year, but that 58's really hurt big time and cost me in a lot of my leagues as well. So I'd say this trade hasn't worked out like I thought it would. Another trade that I felt like's been all right, but also pretty not good, is trading out Patrick Cripps in round 18 for the Cats game, which clearly he didn't score that well with an 84, but ever since then, 118, 146, 104, 117 has not been good. Merritt did start off pretty well on my side for the first 3 weeks, I believe. Yep, 136, 133, 140. But then a 71 and 73 has really evened out that trade. So, yeah, I might have honestly lost points at this point with this trade, but I haven't done the math there. Hewitt out just because I needed, because I had a few extra trades. You try to trade out your premiums if they're injured. And at that point, Hewitt just wasn't going to come back. So brought in Stewart for 560K. Once again, I felt like this hasn't worked out like I thought it would. With a 112, which was good. A 98, which is, solid. But then a 48 really hurts as well. So, just a few of these premiums I've brought in, they've just given me like a really bad score, and that's really affected me big time. Just these pods against these guys that I've luxury upgraded out, and yet they've done just such a good job. I did re-olo to Cully for the money, and my final trade is short to Brayshaw. We'll find out this week whether this was a positive trade, because of course the week I trade out Jaden Shaw, he does amazing. He scores 108, but Brayshaw still outscored him by 5 points. But hopefully I don't have I don't lose points out on this trade either. So I feel like my trades have not been as good as what I anticipated. So look, in all honesty, if I had to give my trades out of 10, what am I grading myself this year in terms of trades? I think Bontempelli was a great trade in. Dawson and Laird in the 1 week was brilliant. That really brought me up in the ranks. Just trading out a few of these highly popular blokes has kind of hurt me because they've turned it around a bit. So I think if I had to rank my trades this year, I think I'm going to say it's roughly been, I'd say a 7 out of 10. But thinking about these trades in the past, I would have thought, oh, you know what, these trades have been absolutely perfect, but they haven't. So what else could we do? I'll do my lessons learnt last. Let's have a look at our points for the year. So we've roughly averaged 2,298. We've been scoring the 2,400 since round 17. So we've stayed consistent. So we can have a look back at our overall rank. We were 55K at round 1. So we've managed to bring it down. Even round 3, 38K. That doesn't really matter too much. Roughly about round 5 or 6 is when you roughly start to get a good gauge of your rank. So roughly I was about 20K. So a bit of a poor start. Had to fight back, which I did. I made a really good charge between round 8 to round, in all honesty, up to round 20. I think I was doing really well. Did we go down once in the rank since this? Oh no, we went down here, so that was all right. Oh yeah, I remember early days in this season where it was a bit like up down in ranks, but then we had a little period here where we just wouldn't go down in the ranks, which has been very good. We slightly did there, but yeah, no. And then we've sort of evened out. When I thought up to here, when I was 1,779, I generally thought, gee, we're a good chance here at the top 1K, but clearly not. So, yeah, I think it's been a pretty good season for me. Obviously, a few lessons learned that I'd like. I think I'll do one more SuperCoach video, and that will be either on the Sunday if I'm not drinking, or the Monday. Probably the Monday, to be honest, because it gives me a bit more time to gather everything up for my final SuperCoach video of 2022. And I'll also do a little preview of my premiums, my 12 premiums I'm thinking of starting next year in that final round review. So I think that'll be the last video. I was actually thinking about doing this video next week, but I thought, you know what, trade's done, blah, blah, blah. Look, I think SuperCoach this year has sort of been dwindling a bit in terms of my interest and obviously for views. And I'll do my big thanks and all that in the final round review. So this will be the second last video. All right. So in terms of our team value, doesn't matter too much. Is there anything else I need to check? Not really. Like, I think you can all see this here. Yeah, I've had to fight back a bit here, and I'm going to roughly land around 2K. So hopefully we can have one more big round 23 and hopefully finish inside the top 2K. That's obviously the aim now. Look, I'm just going to go over my lessons learned, and then they'll probably do it. So lessons learned for SuperCoach 2022. Your side's never perfect. I've certainly learned that. I thought I was making some master stroke trades this year. Clearly hasn't panned out like I thought. I think you just got to be absolutely confident in luxury upgrades. Well, this leads into my next point. Luxury upgrades aren't necessarily needed. So like, say for example here, Heaney did one bad score and I traded him out just because I had enough. I'd rather go against him. Clearly hasn't worked out at all. Butters, I think that's turned out pretty well with Bontempelli. Cripps, hasn't clearly worked out. Probably could have just saved a trade here and just kept the faith in Cripps, but it is what it is. Short to Brayshaw is still a bit 50-50. So yeah, look, those are the main ones. I think, your side's never perfect. So that's one thing I need to learn, not get too overhyped about my side and get too confident. Oh, if I can make this, trade out this highly owned bloke for this pod, then I'll shoot up in the ranks, which in some cases I did. But at the same time, I could have actually probably been in a bit of a better position if I actually just kept some of these blokes. Here's what it is. Your luxury upgrades aren't necessarily needed, so you have to be absolutely confident that you're making the right move. I think swing for the fences a bit more. I think if we're going to keep this 35 trade format next season, then I think you can afford to swing the fences a little bit more. You know what? I think next year, in all honesty, I'd rather swing for the fences a bit more. Take a few more risks. Maybe bring in the Darcy Cameron. You know what I mean? I think I'd rather go after that than have a lot of trades left to use luxury upgrades. I think you just got to back your premiums in more. And obviously, blokes like Crisp and Short were totally necessary. But when I trade out Cripps, like Cripps, for example, he wasn't doing awful. He was still putting up some solid scores. Nothing great, but I think with my experience with Cripps last year, I had him last year, and he just really, he was just going so bad. I thought he was going down the same trajectory this season, but he's clearly turned it around. Pinning that back's really helped. So, yeah, I think if there's a Darcy Cameron next year, I think that's going to be a trade I'm going to do. I think I'd rather spend more money on, I'd rather spend maybe a few more of my trades on some risks, especially if there's 35 trades next year, which is quite a lot. So I think I'd rather take some more risks with my trade than I guess just being a bit boring, a bit vanilla. Like, this side's pretty template. I mean, it's not crazy template, but is what it is. Then my final point is going to be starting team / mid prices / value. So my starting team, I think there needs to be the right balance. I think with premiums, I will tell you guys my premiums. I'm thinking early days for 2023 in my final SuperCoach video for the year. I think there's got to be a nice balance here, because I think obviously you need to go after value. I think you need to have the right balance. You need to pick SuperCoach premiums that aren't going to go down much in coin. They're super consistent. I thought I was doing that with Chris this year, but clearly hasn't worked out. Short was a bit stiff because of the role change. But look, for example, I won't spoil it, but I'm going to be targeting SuperCoach players for next year that are going to outperform their value, and also premiums that aren't going to go down much in value. And they're going to be players that are constantly hard to bring into your side. So if you don't start them, it's going to be a real struggle to bring them in unless you overpay. So look, I think that's going to be my target. So starting team, mid-price value. One thing I will say, I think, as I said, there needs to be a bit of a balance. Not every year is the value going to work. Like this year's been really weird, where blokes like Hewitt, Sicily, who are some other options? I don't even know. I don't remember. Heaney has worked out. So I think that's one thing, is that not every year it's going to work out as value. I think you still need to target the top dogs, so you can have early captain and vice captain, etc. So yeah, look, they'll just about do me, I reckon. I don't think there's much else more to go after. Obviously, this won't be uploaded tonight, but this will be uploaded probably tomorrow afternoon. What's the time? Oh God, 1 o'clock. I need to go to bed. Got work in 6 hours, but I generally don't feel tired. So yeah, it's what it is. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the round 23 SuperCoach final review for the year. I will be uploading some AFLW fantasy content this year, probably just mainly reviews each week. I just don't know enough about AFL fantasy in itself and AFLW of the sport, so I need to learn more of the players and all that. So I think I'll just leave it to the reviews and see how we go. So yeah, look, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in probably Monday, next Monday, for the final round review. Cheers.